Pollution due to coal burning most frequently tends to affect lakes by, so the pollution that comes out of these coal-fired electric plants, that sulfur and the carbon dioxide, all those emissions get into the atmosphere, and then when the atmosphere comes back down in the form of rain, eventually that rain is a little bit acidic and it gets into the lakes and rivers, and that B increases the acidity of the lake. In the picture, we see solar panels, which are used to convert the energy from the sun into electricity. It's a very clean, renewable source of energy. But the question is about a major disadvantage of using solar panels to generate electricity. So what's your major disadvantage about using these? Because there's a lot of advantages. They release toxic fumes? Absolutely not. It's a very clean energy. Cannot convert energy efficiently? No, they're getting better and better. They can do that. Are affected by cloud coverage and day length. Now that's true. On a really cloudy day, you're going to generate less electricity. And at night, you're not going to be able to generate any electricity. So our best answer here is H. Are affected by cloud coverage and day length. This picture shows an area in the mountains that was strip mined for its coal. You can see how much damage was done to the land here, and you can see it's kind of terraced and dug very low, and they took all the coal mine out below some of the other layers of the rock. The question though says, which action would most likely reduce concerns about how strip mining can harm the environment? So how can you make this better? Because this is obviously very bad for the environment. Restrict mining operations to rural areas. Just because you mine something in a rural area doesn't mean that it's not harming the environment. Reclaim the ecosystem after mining. Okay. Increase the usage of the products being mined. Using more coal isn't necessarily going to help the environment. Decreasing the amount of labor needed in the mines. No, that's not going to help the environment either. So our best answer here is reclaiming the ecosystem after mining, meaning replanting the trees and restoring the land to, at least as close as you can to what it once was. So the answer is B. The chart shows the real basics of our two major energy sources, how we classify them as renewable energy and non-renewable energy. Our non-renewable means energy that once we run out of it, we can't generate it again. And that's coal, oil, and natural gas. That's our major forms of non-renewable energy, and that's our fossil fuels. Our renewable energy is energy that we can use over and over and over again, like energy from the wind, solar energy, energy generated from dams and rivers, biomass like ethanol, switchgrass, geothermal energy like really common in Iceland, where you have areas where there's energy coming from inside the earth. Some fuels are classified as non-renewable because they produce toxic waste. That's not why they're non-renewable. Can be easily recycled. That's the opposite here of non-renewable. Come from deep within the earth. Nope, that's a renewable source, geothermal. Required a long period of time to form. That's why they're non-renewable. D, because they take a long time to form again. A major problem with depending on fossil fuels, that's coal, oil, and natural gas, as the primary energy sources is they are, remember fossil fuels, here you got natural gas, coal, and oil. They are overabundant. Well, there's a lot of coal, oil, and natural gas, but that's not the major problem with them. They are non-polluting. They are polluting, and even if they were non-polluting, that still would not be a major problem. They are non-renewable. That is a major problem. The fact that if we're going to completely depend on fossil fuels for energy, eventually they can run out. So that is a problem. So C is the best answer. Wind power is not typically used to generate all of the electricity needed for large cities. Why? Why can't you completely depend on wind power to, generate the electricity for an entire city? Could be because sometimes it's not windy and the energy source is inconsistent. That's a good answer, like letter A. All right, let's just look at B, C, and D real quick. Waste products are unsafe? No. Fuel expenses are too great? Nope. Energy produced is not in a usable form? No. So our best answer here is why you can't depend on wind power exclusively is the energy source is inconsistent, A. This is a math question. It requires a little bit of science knowledge, but it's basically a simple math question. Look at our pie chart, which we know our pie chart must add up to 100%. All right, we see a lot of things in our pie chart. We see our fossil fuels. We see oil, 35%, coal, 27%, and natural gas, 17%. We see a little nuclear power, 3%, and then we see our non-renewable energy here, all of it combined, 18%. So the chart above shows different sources of energy. Which conclusion can be made on this chart? Coal is the main source of energy. Let's check it. Coal, 27. Nope, it's not the main source. That would be oil. All right, the use of nuclear power is increasing. That may or may not be a true statement, but you cannot tell from a pie chart what's increasing or decreasing. Fossil fuels make up over 3/4 of our energy consumption. So 3/4 would be 75%. All right, so let's add up our fossil fuels. We got 17 plus 35. We're looking at 52%. Plus coal, 27, we're at 79%. So our fossil fuels do add up to over 3/4 of our energy consumption. So H is our correct answer. Let's look at J real quick. Renewable energy sources are predominantly used. That means mostly. Renewable energy is not our #1 source. It's definitely the fossil fuels. All right, so even if you didn't know the math part, hopefully maybe you eliminated F and G and J and then just picked H. But either way, I hope you picked H. Alright, let's take a look at our renewable energy again. We've got wind power, solar power, biomass, like living things like corn to make ethanol. We've got water, like a dam, like the Hoover Dam. Geothermal, like some places in the world where you'll find power coming from under the earth. And let's look at our non-renewables, mainly our fossil fuels, oil, coal, and natural gas. This is our major sources of energy still in the world today. We've also got nuclear power. All right, so which of the following is a renewable source of energy? Not natural gas, not coal, not oil, but falling water over a dam that turns a turbine and generates electricity. So the answer to number 8 is J, falling water. Very similar question in number 8, just asking you which of the following is not a fossil fuel. So you need to remember that fossil fuels are our non-renewable sources of energy, and those are coal, oil, and natural gas. So what the trick here is knowing a fancy word for oil, and that's letter C, petroleum is oil. So coal, petroleum, and natural gas, those are all fossil fuels. Wood would be a renewable source of energy and not a fossil fuel. So the answer to the question is B, wood is not a fossil fuel.